powered by Riverside.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Live from the Bench with your boy GQ and the one and only Boulevard. Before we get started, we want to make a shout out because Boulevard and myself, we're big fans of music, and we want to give a shout out. We didn't get enough time because I just found out this morning, but I want to give out a rest in peace to the greatest, Fat Man Scoop. He made some
greatest. Okay, I guess.
I mean, I liked him. I liked him for the club scene. I liked him,
He was barely on my radar. Only club music I rock with that Be More shit and that Go-Go from DC. That's what I rock with when it comes to that club shit. I mean, that ride,
like
and all that stuff.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Boulevard.
What's
so
up?
We got a good amount of things to talk about. Some of this stuff is going to be right there on the fantasy nose for those people who like fantasy football. And they're going to be really into it. Some of these things we'll put some things on your radar. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Boulevard, I have some bold predictions. I don't know if you have any, but I'm going to give you my 5. If you got 5.
I always have bold predictions, but nobody ever listens. So, yeah, I got some.
All right, I'm going to give you mine and you get yours.
All right.
First, on my bold predictions, I have the Rams, Seahawks, and Eagles having 3 receivers with more than 800 yards receiving.
That'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah. You got something? Or you want to? How you want to?
Oh, you want me to throw it in now? Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Max Crosby averages 2 sacks per game on the way to setting a new sack record with 35. He's named the most valuable player. Or at least the defensive most valuable player of the year.
Nice. You know what? I would have never thought that was even possible. You would think that somebody couldn't get 30 sacks in a game, but it's really possible.
It's
somebody,
possible.
getting 2 sacks a game, and Max Crosby could be that guy.
He could be that guy. TJ Watt could be that guy. I mean, my prediction is mostly that is Max, and it happens this season with 35 sacks.
I would love to see it.
Love to see it. 13 more than a record. Give or take a half a sack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want them bold. Going bold.
Eagles, Ravens, and Steelers all 3 teams will have 2 1,000-yard rushers.
These are not bold. Okay. Sure.
The Eagles going to be Jalen Hurts and Saquon. Ravens, Jackson, Henry, and the Steelers. This is why it's bold. For the Steelers, Justin Fields and Jalen Warren.
Yeah, I've heard they're considering like Justin Fields being like a Taysom Hill for him. But like he's no Taysom Hill.
He probably might be the better quarterback.
Yeah, at least long term. I mean, I can't imagine Russ will be there in 2025. Though.
No.
But
all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of getting benched, I got Gardner Minshew getting benched by week 4, replaced by Aiden O'Connell.
I agree with that.
Right, it's not even bold. It's definitely possible. That ain't even a prediction. It's a spoiler, as Paul would say. All right, what else you got? Because, we know that's going to happen, just a matter of weeks.
I have Jordan Travis starting in New York.
Who the hell is Jordan Travis?
He is one of the quarterbacks for the Jets.
Oh, wow, what a coincidence. I have Aaron Rodgers getting injured again in week 1 and being out for the season. Damn.
That's
nice.
I
guess we're on the same wavelength.
Okay. Here's another one because this is definitely a bold prediction. Spencer Rattler throws for 2,500 yards this season.
Ooh, I like that one. Yeah.
What does that say about the Saints?
Says Derek Carr ain't finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr is on the way out. I can see that.
If he doesn't end up in Minnesota before the trade deadline.
Ooh, it's possible. I mean, Rattler shows anything, which I've heard he was kind of shining in camp. So that's what I heard. But I got the Bears coming out of nowhere, reaching the conference championship game.
To lose to the Eagles? Yeah, probably.
Yes, but I didn't have that because that's not very bold to say the Eagles are going to win the conference.
True.
That's not bold.
True. It's not really bold.
No. There's only 3 real contenders, allegedly. So, I mean, I only say 2, but, they like to throw Detroit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Bay. And like those, no. But, yeah. And also, my 5th prediction is Sam Darnold is named the MVP. That's why I couldn't be Max Crosby, because it's going to be Sam Darnold in Minnesota. Stranger things haven't happened.
You know what? If we throwing this stuff out, my final prediction: Will Levis throws for 30 touchdowns. Those are my predictions.
That's bold.
That's my bold. Those are my bold predictions, ladies and gentlemen.
That means Ridley. That means Calvin Ridley gonna have a good season, y'all. If Will Levis shows anything, I'd be shocked.
All right.
Fucking bacon on the floor. All right. What's next up? What you got?
So on according to our private chat, according to the agenda that we have in the private chat, it says that Boulevard has some questions for us, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we're going straight into that. All righty. Let's see. These are all Eagles based. Well, not all Eagles based. They're all NFL based, though. More fantasy relevant than anything. But I'm going to start off with the word is out. Eagles, Jalen Hurts, weakness exposed. That's the article I was reading on Athlon Sports a couple of days ago, where, according to Mike Sando, they figured out Jalen Hurts. According to one coach, the word is out there. If you run 0 blitz against Hurts or show 0 and back everyone out, he will panic. Yeah. They lose Jason Kelce, who handled the protections, basically did everything, and you bring in a control coordinator who likes to drop back. It'll be interesting. Nick Bosa said last year, you see it on tape. Obviously, we put the blueprint out there. Hopefully the Cowboys watch the tape. We made Jalen stay in the pocket instead of escaping out of those B gaps, and it paid off. What you think? Are they talking out their ass, or are they on to something?
I think that's just film. And I think that's just Jalen Hurts getting the opportunity to actually learn. I'm like, you're acting like this guy wasn't in the middle of a learning process. Like, we know he had certain struggles.
Right. What is this, year 4?
Yeah, and he's had a different offensive coordinator almost every year of his career. So I mean, of course you're gonna see some struggles like that. You're talking about a young guy who's still not even reached his prime yet.
God, no, he's still a couple years away, a couple seasons from his prime. We haven't seen the best of Hurts. Yeah,
so I mean, y'all saying y'all found weaknesses in a young guy. Of course, there's going to be weaknesses. He's not fully developed yet. He's still got some development. So I feel like you're exposing obvious flaws that somebody who's young and still trying to get still trying to get himself together. Of course, there's going to be flaws. You kind of talking about you expose weaknesses. These are not weaknesses to expose. All you're doing is saying, "Oh, the young guy is not fully developed yet." Oh my gosh, guys, grow up. What?
Like, got a whole new system, new checkdowns, all of that shit. He's going to learn so I think he'll be okay. I'm sure he knows that he has weaknesses that he had to fix, and he spent the offseason working on them. I assume, because that's what any player worth their salt will be doing, is trying to fix their weaknesses and heighten their strengths in the offseason.
And I'll say, from attending the Eagles live practices, it does in fact look like Jalen has been doing a lot better with his reads. Moving up to the line of scrimmage, calling out things, and it's something that I haven't seen him do before.
He didn't have to call checks or anything at the line because he had Kelce to do that.
Yeah, but from what I've been seeing at the live practices, that he's going up there, the kill. But last year we didn't see Jalen Hurts doing that, but you've seen him doing. He was doing that at the live practices. He's pointing people out. He's doing that. So, I mean, he's growing, and you guys think that might be you're exposing of him. And this is my thing. This is where I say I have this thing like don't say shit. Like, don't say stuff out loud. If you feel like you've got a secret weapon to stopping him, don't say anything because now it's out there.
Right now, he knows that you see this.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is like, oh, they say that I can't read. I panic when this happens. So now Jalen Hurts has this information. They think this is my problem. I'm going right to my QB's coach and my offensive coordinator. Let's figure this out. You said something, you opened it up, and now you kind of blew your whole little trick out of the window. So we'll see how this goes. See what happens next.
Yeah, that was one of them questions. That went well. Okay, my next one is probably more of a thinker. Is Kellen Moore any good? I mean, we all know the story. He left Dallas and Dak had his best season. He hasn't really had any actual success in his career. So is he any good?
I feel like he is. And the reason why, I'm like, because Dallas, when he was there, they actually did well running the ball. They had a very good balance of running the ball.
Have a lot of balance with him. That's true.
So, and you can find successful balance with him. Now, going to San Diego, to the Chargers or whatever they are, they were already who they were. So I don't think Kellen could save them. Like, you can bring a good coach to a system, but if the system, or bring a new coach to a team, but if the team is garbage, like, you can't expect him to make a Caesar salad with a bunch of old and wrinkled lettuce. Like, the salad's not going to be any good just because you bring in a good chef. Like, the food's going to be disgusting. So, I mean,
yeah,
I think that you need, I mean, regardless of how good a coach is, you still need some good players there, because you brought the guy, Sean Payton, and the coach Denver Broncos, but obviously Denver Broncos were washed. The Broncos team was just bad. So you can't really expect Sean Payton to fix that if he was this legendary coach that he's supposed to be. So that's my thing.
But you can't hear that music, right? Because I ain't trying to get shut down or copywritten because there's a fair going on.
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. I wish I heard it.
I think it's country. So,
never mind.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that anyway.
Oh, yeah, I think Kellen might do well.
All right, my next question. Will Russell Wilson still be the starter in Week 11? We know he won the QB battle with him and Justin Fields, but is he going to finish the season as the starter? I said Week 11, but when do we see Justin Fields?
I think Week 4. I think if the Steelers aren't plus 500 by Week 4, Justin Fields comes in. And the reason why, I feel like the only reason why Russ won the quarterback battle when there wasn't a quarterback battle, because Russ was barely there, is because his name is Russell Wilson and he has that name value, and he is who he is. Yeah, he is who he is. But at the same time, when you got a young guy that you can develop, there's only a matter of time before you're like, hey, man, you're a veteran, teach this guy up. Your career is all but over. Your career is basically ending in a few years. Right. This guy needs development. You be his guy, hold his clipboard, talk to him. And, that's basically
nothing stopping him from developing Fields this whole time, obviously. Like, while Russ is just sitting there as a starter, they could be, taking some time, giving Fields the extra reps and all of that good stuff, working with him in the film room, fixing his weaknesses, because, like you said, Russ ain't going to be there forever.
Yeah.
This whole point of this question was, will Russ be the starter by the end of the season? No. Not if they can mold Fields a little, fix his weak spots, his blind spots, to make him a more capable, consistent starter. play to play, which Russ you would think is because he's been around for 12 years or so. Been around a long time.
Yeah.
He's done it. He's proven. He's experienced. He's had success at the highest levels, almost. But I mean, based on what he's been showing the past few years, there's not much left for him to cook. So
No.
it's just a matter of time before he's just a veteran backup holding the clipboard, helping Fields through the progressions and all that, what to look for while sitting on the sidelines with the headset.
Yeah.
That's where he belongs at this point.
Yeah.
But let him have his shot. Let him flop. Meanwhile, they're still developing Fields. And when time comes, week 11, week 4, week 7, he should be capable, hopefully, of at least running the system.
Yeah.
Managing the game. Maybe not taking over the game, but at least managing it, not fucking it up.
Yeah. I could see Russ for the next 2 to 4 years playing a journeyman backup. Because I don't think he's just going to leave. I think 38, 39, Russell Wilson to retire. But I don't see him.
No, he likes being the man.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the man anymore. He's going to be a serviceable backup for everybody over the next few years.
Likes the attention of being a pro. Yeah. Some players like that more than they actually like being a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm saying he's one of those, but he does like the limelight. That's all I'm saying. He likes the attention.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4. I think I asked this on the other one. Does Kyle Pitts score more than 6 touchdowns this career? That's his career total.
Yes.
6 touchdowns.
Yes. He easily gets that number. I'll say in the first 8 games, because Kirk Cousins is a tight end friendly guy. He loves his tight ends, like Kyle Rudolph, Hawkinson. He loves those guys. He loves, he loved throwing to his tight end. So I definitely see a big uptick in his numbers. And not only that, we got to understand that in Kyle Pitts' career, I don't think he's ever had a quarterback that you can be confident in.
No, he hasn't.
So, I mean,
was Matt Ryan still there his rookie year?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Matt Ryan was in Indy.
That was like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was in Indy.
I forgot he went somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, I have no.
We had Dan Quinn as his coach
when
he first got in the league until Dan Quinn got fired mid-season for Raheem Morris. But yeah, I don't see how he couldn't.
Right.
I feel like he's got to be the number one option on the offense outside as far as passing the ball. He has to be the number one option. Like Drake London has, to me, he's flopped. I mean, Kyle Pitts has too, but talent-wise, Pitts still has a lot more to prove, a lot more to show.
I feel like I could agree with you, but I feel like we haven't seen what the best of what these guys can do is because these quarterbacks haven't really put them in the right position to win. I think now that, I mean, and to say that, and I'm saying this because understandably Kirk Cousins is very overrated, even though people think he's underrated. But I feel like Kirk Cousins might be a good enough quarterback to at least utilize the talent around him to where you can be more confident. And I think if the Falcons are smart, they should definitely utilize a 2-back system with Algier and Bijan on the field at the same time. But
that could work.
Yeah, I would do that, but that's beside the point. I think
I'm not the biggest believer in Algier, whatever the fuck, Algier.
He rushed for 1,000 yards his rookie year.
I know.
And then they drafted another running back.
Of course. I mean, how could you couldn't avoid the best running back in the draft when he falls to you. I mean, they had no choice. Algier, yeah, he got to 1,000, but the upside with Bijan's way higher.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but I don't want Bijan to be in a rotation with Algier. If Algier gets 8 8 to 10 carries and Bijan gets 15 to 23 or so, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
Algier shouldn't be nowhere near, shouldn't be equal in carries. Or
No,
even
he shouldn't be equal in carries. I think he should be. I think what they should do is run some systems where like Algier may play a little fullback in a sense. Because that is who he is. He's a big back.
He's a big back, yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite the game breaker that
Bijan
is. Yeah.
But I think if there's a guy that you want backing up your star running back, Algier could be that guy. The same with Eckler and Robinson. They'll probably be there.
Yeah, fantasy players out there, you might want to handcuff your running backs if you have one of those four that you just said. But we were talking about Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is easily gonna get 8 or 9 touchdowns. I'm gonna say he's plus 8 touchdowns this year. He's definitely gonna get at least 8 more than he had last year.
All right. I don't want to disagree with that. So I'll go to the next one. My 5th and final question before we go back to our expectations. Does Malik Neighbors deserve to wear number 1? Like, you know the history. Some old-timey dude, first player to ever get his jersey retired in the NFL. His family's like, yeah, sure, Malik Neighbors can use number 1. Now, I have my opinions on wearing number 1 in general. I believe if you're going to do it, you need to be like the star of the team, like the number 1 of the team. You can't just be some rookie who walks in the building and gets to wear number 1. Like, you haven't earned number 1. Number 1 is number 1. There's nothing above it. Maybe in a depth chart, yeah, he might be the number 1 option, but that doesn't make him a number 1. It just makes he's not a number 1. Because let's say they go get like a free agent, say, who's coming up a free agent? Like Ayuk. If they maybe, for instance, they picked up Ayuk. But Malik Neighbors still be the number 1 on that team? No. So he doesn't deserve to be number 1 because he hasn't proven that he can be that guy. Period. So there's no one on your team that is proven to be that level, like an A.J. Brown or like I don't know, give me some top receiver, some top running back that have established themselves. You don't get to walk in as a rookie and be number 1. You got to earn that number. You got to earn that jersey. It's like number 10 in soccer. Yeah. It's the same equivalent. Like you have to earn that on the field.
I have my opinions about it. It has nothing to do with him being a star or not. I have so when they laxed the number rules a few years ago, I wasn't happy about it. I feel like you don't relax these things because I feel like there's a different standard with the NFL and college and high school. It's a different level, different standard. And I feel like you lax that standard. It just get people just come in and they're just like, oh, I deserve this number. Yeah. No, keep that standard. Where like people wore certain numbers to match their position. It's like laxing that, it just gets everything out of control. I remember there was a point where all the numbers were taken and Teddy Bridgewater had on number 50. When I saw that, I knew it got out of hand. And how do you walk that back as a league? Is like you just, at this point, you just start saying, hey, yada, 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 can't wear these numbers. Because at some point, there was no reason to lax those rules. Laxing those rules was just to
sell more jerseys.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm not a fan of it. So Malik Numbers getting number 1 as a wide receiver, I'm not a fan of it. It bothers me, and it's probably going to bother me forever. But with all that being said, I want to go right into sleepers. So if you got your fantasy notebook, make sure you got your fantasy notebook out. If you value our opinion, if you don't, I don't give a shit.
They don't, but if they're listening, they're going to learn something anyway.
Yes, indeed. So as we said earlier, multiple times where I said the Steelers are going to have 2 1,000-yard rushers. and Boulevard. We already discussed that Russell Wilson will not be starting
Mm-hmm.
the entire season. That means Justin Fields will get his turn to start. My sleeper, put him on your roster. Pick him up, Justin Fields. I have Justin Fields throwing for over 2,000 passing yards and rushing for 1,000 this year. I got that. He's going to be a guy.
That is bold.
My prediction.
That is bold.
He is a sleeper pick. Regardless of what my predictions are, he is a sleeper pick. Do not be caught with Justin Fields sitting there and you not pick him up. He is somebody you're going to want to have when those bye weeks hit. Make sure you got him. You got any sleepers, Junior? Who's your
my sleeper at quarterback is Geno Smith. And it's mostly, I mean, he's got 3 solid receivers, but I mean, he plays Denver, New England, the Giants, the Falcons, and 2 games against Arizona. Those are all bad defenses.
Yeah.
So that in itself is like, okay, that's like what, 5-6 games that he's probably going to have solid right out the gate. I mean, in this season, like Denver, New England, Miami, and the Giants in week 5. So that's probably 4 good games right there. I didn't look at his entire schedule, but that's 4 solid games right there. Plus, he's got 3 solid receivers, an okay tight end, and decent running backs. He's got the weapons to make noise, to do some damage this year, especially against lesser caliber opponents. So pick up Geno. At least that's your second option. You set your QB2. Pick up Geno.
Yeah.
It won't hurt you. He won't hurt you. He can only help you, and he's going to surprise people. I got him in like a top 12 this season. Easy schedule.
I have another guy you're going to want to pick up and make sure you hold him for the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Washington tight end, I believe it's Ben Sinnott.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's going to be a point in the league, in the season this year, where either Zach Ertz is hurt or Zach Ertz just starting getting a limit to his reps, whatever.
You mean like rest load management?
Yeah. Ben Sinnott is going to be that guy that steps in and fills in that. And you're going to start to see where Ben Sinnott has more reps than Zach Ertz. Ben Sinnott should be your guy. If you're going to be playing somebody and you have Washington, he's going to get a lot of reps. He's going to get a lot of passes. You know how young quarterbacks are when they're young and they're rookies. They need a surefire receiver. They're going to lean running back or tight end, most likely a tight end. Ben Sinnott's going to get a lot of catches.
Okay. Well, my sleeper at running back is Tyjae Spears. Like, simply his only competition for reps is Tony Pollard. We all know Tony Pollard's like just about at the end. He had decent numbers last year. He cleared 1,000, but just barely. He was like 4 yards a carry even. I like to think we're going to get more production out of Tyjae Spears, who averaged 4.5 last season.
Yes.
So, I mean, that in itself, plus opportunity.
Yeah.
Tyjae Spears. You need somebody later on. I don't remember what round he goes in, but it's a little later. So you can probably find him. He'd be your third running back, your flex, what have you. He's a solid pick later on in the draft.
Yes.
He's got opportunity. And most of his company, I mean, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. I don't know his schedule, but he'll be all right. You can't go wrong picking up Tyjae Spears later on. He'll probably surprise a few people statistically.
Okay. So here's another thing. I believe in continuity across the board. So Spencer Rattler is another sleeper for me. Go and get Spencer Rattler. If you picked up Derek Carr, I'm going to just tell you, you can hold on to him because he will end up still being a starter at some point. But you want to pick up Spencer Rattler because he is going to be a difference maker that Derek Carr is not in New Orleans. So pick up Spencer Rattler, put him in your reserves, let him sit there until it happens because it will happen. I believe in continuity. You're going to see a lot of it.
All right. My wide receiver sleeper is Rashid Shaheed of the Saints. He averaged 3 catches on 5 targets last season per game. He averaged per catch 15 yards per for 700 yards. I believe he had, 45 receptions for over 700 yards. You can't beat that efficiency.
No.
Like, that's getting bang for your buck right there.
Yeah.
15 yards per. There wasn't too many close to that last season. That's big play as it gets. So if you need somebody that's going to get you them points, like on limited production, probably, or maybe not. I don't even know. But I mean, you can't go wrong with the production he's given, 15 yards per. If you can get something similar to that, and he can up his receptions from 3 to say 6. Yeah, you got a beast on your hands. So, yeah, you pick Rashid Shaheed. If he falls to you, grab him. You will not be disappointed with the results. He may not win you the league, but he will win you games. He will be that missing piece for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have another pick. I went quarterback heavy this week. But again, I believe in continuity. Will Levis will go off this year. Will Levis will go off this year. Will Levis will go off this year. Go and get Will
Levis will go off this year.
Yes, go and get Will Levis. I have confidence. 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. I'm telling you.
And he'll be like the 15th, 16th quarterback off the board. So
yeah.
You can wait.
And let's be honest, who are they competing with? Just the Texans. Just the Texans, because I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars competing. And of course, we're not going to see a lot from the Colts. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
No hope for Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor and Mike Pittman?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have any confidence in Guardian Cap Taylor.
You don't like the Guardian Caps?
I like the Guardian Caps. I don't mind the Guardian Caps. I like Jonathan Taylor. I just don't have any faith in the Colts.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like that
James Tyken, the defense might be dog shit.
Yeah, I have no faith in them.
Pretty solid.
And that's the thing about Anthony Richardson. I think he has a lot of talent, but I just don't know. I just don't see that. Maybe next year, because I still think he needs a 4-year of development, and he hasn't gotten that because he got injured. I feel like he's still developing, and just to expect anything out of that, no, I'm not ready.
All right. Pat Freiermuth at tight end is my sleeper at tight end. In 2022, in 16 games, he had 98 targets. Okay. So he was getting space and separation. But in 22, he didn't play as many, and he only had 47, which is about half in 12 games. So that's a big drop off in productivity and like the targets, basically. So that means the quarterback wasn't targeting him. But now they got new quarterbacks. They got Russ. Come on, quarterbacks that like their tight ends. You got Russ and you got Fields over there.
Fields likes his tight ends too.
So chances are you're going to get some productivity out of Pat Freiermuth this season. I don't know if to say he's a sleeper, but considering he only had 47 targets last season, I'd call him a sleeper because he might not even be going in the top 5 at his position. He might be about 6th or 7th.
No,
but yeah, Freiermuth. If he's there and you have no better option, it will not hurt you to take him if you need a tight end. You could do worse.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you do have one more. All right.
My last sleeper is Eagles running back Will Shipley. I got him getting 500 yards on the ground and 500 yards receiving. I feel like he's going to get 1,000 all-purpose yards. And I mean, that might be a nice little pickup to give you extra points. I think he's going to be a nice little spell to Saquon Barkley.
500 seems like a stretch. I'd say he gets about 800 total.
I got it.
Like he might even be returning kicks, so you expected that in too.
He's going to be a nice additional guy to have. So.
It'll be a nice off the bench option, third down option. He won't hurt. Maybe if they can figure out how to slide him out to receiver on some plays, that wouldn't hurt. Oh, he's got flexibility. They should definitely utilize it. Something like the way they utilize CMC in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But my fifth is a defense. And it's probably one nobody's actually thinking of. Vegas. They finished in the top 10 last season, even though you wouldn't notice that because the team was ass. But the defense was a top 10 defense. So don't sleep on that defense because they got a defensive-minded head coach. And we all know he know his shit. So they're going to be prepared just like they were last season. It's going to be improved compared to last season. Vegas is a solid pick.
Okay.
Probably more before the Eagles or Dolphins, which were both top 10. Well, Eagles wasn't, but the Dolphins were a top 10 defense last season. I'd be putting Vegas higher than them. Like they're going to make offenses suffer. Just watch. They're going to surprise y'all. Watch.
All right. So if you're
also, let me also point out that their main competition will be Denver, San Diego, and Kansas City. One of those teams is a factor. One of those teams is going to actually hurt Vegas, but they can take out those other two teams.
Yeah.
Their offenses are drizzling shits. So defensively, Vegas is going to be a top 10 defense, maybe even top 5.
Yeah.
And those are my 5 sleepers.
Yeah. All right. So if your league has a defense and you're picking defense, there you go. Listen to Boulevard. He's got something. Pick Vegas.
Yeah.
And I believe, according to our agenda, Boulevard has some poll topics. He's going to give you 2 of them. And let's get 2 of those polls out of you.
All right. The Athletic did a poll. They asked, what was it, 32? I don't know, 32 somebodies around the league. I don't remember if they were players or staff, general managers, what have you. But they asked 32 staff members around the NFL. It was the best run franchise in the NFL. Who do you think number 1 was?
The best run?
No, yeah, the best run franchise. All right. Well, then I will tell you. It was going from back to front. Number 3 were the Kansas City Chiefs, and tied with 5 votes apiece, the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the people polled said about the Eagles, every year free agents want to go there. They reward players, and Howie nails the draft. Anything on that whole matter?
Listen, I'm going to be in support of anything that has something to do with the Eagles. So, I mean, I'm with it.
All right.
I was trying not to be biased. I ain't want to be biased and just automatically just pick Eagles because that's what we hear. But I love it. I can agree with
they
you.
are one of the best run franchises. For all the shit I gave Howie last season, like this team is consistently around the playoff hunt, and that's the best you can really ask for.
Yeah.
So now the other half of this is the most unstable franchises.
New York
who do you
Giants.
think is the most unstable franchise? And
New
believe
York
me,
Giants.
no,
New York Giants. What?
no, not the Giants.
Commanders?
No.
Jaguars?
No.
Okay, then I'm lost.
All right. Well, the Raiders had 7 picks. 17 people picked the Raiders, but the winner with 9 of 32 was the Carolina Panthers.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
The quote is from one of these people: organizational stability comes from the owner, and the front office needs no more time than the owner gives. A strong quarterback can keep a team viable regardless of the front office. But what's the plan? They have none. They don't know. They're just pulling it as they go. So yeah, they may be in a dump for a long time, especially with Bryce Young at quarterback, and we know how much you love Bryce Young. So,
yeah.
All right. There's 2. I'll have more, but we can go back and
We'll go into that a little bit more, a little longer. Want to
Yeah.
split it up so we can talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next on the list we have toxic picks. I have picks that you should not pick. Players you should not pick. They're toxic to your fantasy team.
They are your no-no squares.
Yes. Number
Don't
one
touch
on my the first pick on my list, I have Aaron Rodgers. As Boulevard has already said, he's gonna get injured. He is gonna get injured.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna blow up your whole. So you know how injuries can blow up your.
Like he committed anyway.
Yeah, he's gonna get injured, and that blows up your entire fantasy season. Do not pick up Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's up to you if you want to trust it, but I don't know.
My first red flag, and I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but it's Kirk Cousins. Simply because he's mediocre as fuck. He's the definition of average, of mid, of just enough. So, and his receiver room outside of Pitts is nil. I'm not big on Drake London like some people are. I mean, he's had 2 years and he hasn't shown enough. Maybe that was Arthur Smith, but it probably wasn't. Maybe it was organizational, but it probably wasn't. No one has considered that maybe Drake London is just what he's shown. I'm going to go with that theory. So, with that said, Kirk Cousins is a red flag to me because if y'all don't know by now what you're going to get out of him, you're going to get the mid level, like exactly somewhere in the middle, like what, let's say 22-10, 22-14, something like that, to finish you with 8-8, 9-7, 9-8. Don't expect much out of Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins is your quarterback, you should start thinking about making a trade because you're not going to win with him. It's like the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to win with him. But fantasy football, you're going to win with Kirk Cousins as your QB, period. So
my next toxic pick is Russell Wilson. And I say, I love continuity, so I'm going to say this. Do not pick up Russell Wilson because by week 4, he will be benched for Justin Fields. I love my continuity, and continuity will always tell a story with GQ. So do not get Russell Wilson because Justin Fields will end up the quarterback.
Yikes. Okay. This guy is on his list because he's on a new team and he's likely to be in a rotation, and that is Joe Mixon. Decent catcher out of the backfield. Not the best pure running back type, but decent pass catcher. They're going to need Pierce to get the ball more, like a lot too. A lot of carries. So I wouldn't expect 1,000 yards for Joe Mixon this season.
No.
If he's on your team, you probably leave him on the bench until a bye week because the production is not going to be there. I might even be surprised if by the end of the season, Dameon Pierce is in front of him on the depth chart. So, yeah, Joe Mixon, no, you don't want him.
Okay, next on my list, I have Odell Beckham. Now, I made this list because I made this list before he got injured. Made this list before I got injured. So if that doesn't tell you something.
Yeah.
But the reason I put him on this list is because Odell Beckham has only went over 30 receptions one time in the past 4 years. This is Odell Beckham. In the past 4 years, has only went over 30 receptions one time.
Oh, that's a liver shot right there. Damn. That hurt. That boy ain't produced it.
With that being said, he's injured now. I don't see it happening this year either. Right.
Do not draft him on the hope that you find that old dude that used to make catches with one hand.
He is not.
Maybe he can still do that, but he ain't going to be open. So
if you draft him to your fantasy team, just understand you're going to be disappointed.
Yep. You already lost if he's on your
you
team.
will be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. You will also be already lost. You will already lost if you have Deontay Johnson as your wide receiver. He's my red flag wide receiver. Why? He's in Carolina. I don't need another reason. He's getting past the thrown to him by Bryce Young. Do you have any faith in Bryce Young to Deontay Johnson? Does that sound like something you can believe in? Nah.
To me?
Anyone, any human, Panthers fans, any human. Do you have confidence in that combination? That is not Montana to Rice. That is not McNabb to Owens. That's not Brady to Moss. That's Bryce Young to Deontay Johnson. You have fun with those 4 touchdowns between the two of them. Don't draft Deontay Johnson. You're going to end up cutting them anyway.
All right. My next pick, you know me, I like to stick with my quarterbacks. It's Devontae Adams, wide receiver in Vegas.
Whoa! Wait, I got a thing for this one. Wait.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
All right. The reason I say don't pick Devontae Adams, I'm sure everybody's going to do it anyway. I just feel like the connection is not going to be there. I just don't see it's going to be there. I'm not confident in Baker Mayfield. I'm really not. Devontae Adams isn't the same guy he used to be, and he's upset quite a bit. He's not happy. He's not happy in Las Vegas. He's not happy for whatever reason. He's not happy.
No, who's his quarterback?
Baker Mayfield. No. I'm sorry, not Baker Mayfield. The guy who thinks it's
Minshew.
Minshew. Yeah, him.
I just said that. Yeah, I knew something was wrong there.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong in my head, but my head don't work.
You're right though.
He's not going to be happy with that quarterback situation.
He's already not happy. What was that clip? I ain't never been hit so much in my career.
Yeah, so
go out there throwing them hospital balls to him.
So that's going to be more of what you're used to. So I wouldn't pick him. If you're going to pick him, just let him sit for a little while because until AOC is starting, I wouldn't be confident in him until that happens because that's where the connection is. He has a connection.
When AOC does start, if you can get any value for Devontae, you trade his ass. If you can get anything of value, because you're not going to get an upswing. Like you're not going to get more what you're given. So, but if you can get anything of value, you might want to trade Devontae Adams if he's on.
It's not happening this year.
No, it's not. It's just not.
You got a 4.
Yeah, my tight end is Cole Kmet.
I can see that.
90 targets last year.
Yeah,
he's not touching that this season. Not with those weapons. He's not touching 90 targets.
No, he's not.
Like not 60, if you're lucky, 65 maybe.
He's have not 44 receptions.
Yeah, right. Boy's going to have a bad season this year because he's going to be the 3rd, 4th option in that offense. So you're wasting your damn space if you grab Cole Kmet.
Not only that, Mercedes Lewis is going to take reps from him.
Yeah, right. So Cole Kmet, don't do that. Don't do Cole Kmet. You can do better. You can find more hope somewhere else.
Okay. My final pick. Y'all might get mad at me for this one because I just said his quarterback's going to go off this year. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be because of DeAndre Hopkins. Do not pick DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to get hurt or he's going to get mad. He's going to get shut down. Calvin Ridley is probably going to be that guy on the outside for him. And I know they got another 3rd guy. I'm not sure who it is. I can't remember. But it's not going to be for DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins will probably produce, but he's not going to be producing enough that it's going to be like, yes.
Where is he? Where is DeAndre Hopkins?
Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
He's not going to be putting up that 20 points for you. He's not doing that for you this year. You'll probably get 8 on average for him this year. 8 points for you the year. It depends
for Hopkins. Damn.
Yeah. So that's my last toxic pick.
My last toxic pick is a defense It's a young defense. It had a terrible season last year and didn't do much necessarily to get much better.
Jacksonville.
Eagles. It's the Eagles. I love the Eagles, but I mean, they're young. They haven't, like, the players that we're relying on to develop and get better haven't done that yet. I mean, there's still hope for the Georgia kids, for Jalen Carter, or what's his name, Jordan Davis. There's still hope for them. I don't necessarily know about Smith or the linebacker from Georgia, middle linebacker from Georgia, but yeah, they're too young, they're too inexperienced, and it's going to take a while for them to adjust to their new system. So I wouldn't look at the Eagles as defense, at least, as an actual fantasy boon to your team. They may hurt you. They may come up with negative points on you. They're not going to be great. They're damn sure not going to be great at the start of the season. So if you're going to get them in streaming. Don't pick them up in this year's draft. Wait till you see what they're capable of with Vic Fangio before you pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with this. And as much as I want to say I disagree with you, they're in a new system, got a lot of new pieces moving around,
Mm-hmm.
and they got they need a couple games before you're like, I mean, I'd say you can pick them up, but let them sit. Like, let them sit for a few weeks before you can figure out what kind of who they.
That's why I said leave their asses in free agency. Pick them up as a streamer on your bye week, because you don't know what you're going to get out of them yet.
I wouldn't pick them up on free agency. I'll make them like your reserve. You're like your bottom of the because let's say they perform really well week 1 and they just happen to be something, and because if they just happen to do something, you don't want somebody else from your league to pick them up, because let Boulevard fool y'all. He could fool y'all and say he not getting the Eagles defense, but I promise you, if he don't get them, I will.
Yeah, don't be surprised if I end up with the Eagles defense.
Yeah, like
after all I just
let
said.
him fool y'all, because if they there, he gonna pick them up.
Every year I end up with the Eagles defense
because he's not gonna let somebody else get them, because they show up. It happen to be that defense out here. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, but seriously, do not be surprised if I end up with the Eagles defense, even though I just said they're undraftable.
So next we got some more poll topics, Boulevard, because you got them.
Right.
I don't have them. You got
Who had the best offseason in your opinion?
I mean, I say the Eagles still won free agency. They're still winning free agency.
Yes, they're still winning.
They're still winning free agency, and free agency is over. They just got Jahan Dotson. Like, they're still winning.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody quit the offseason, but Howie was like, "Nah, I still got work to do." Still winning.
Right.
At
least the Cowboys quit the offseason. They didn't come to play.
Oh, they didn't quit offseason. They just didn't come. They didn't show up to offseason.
Right. Their alarm didn't go off or some shit. But like the top 5 best off seasons. 3 votes for the Eagles, 5 votes for the Chargers and the Bears, 6 votes to the Texans, and the winner with 8 is the Commanders. Which I'm guessing it's all Jaden Daniels. Like,
yeah, that's all it could be.
Now. That's all it could be in my that's the biggest move they made.
What did the Chargers do? They got rid of their old receivers and
Jim Harbaugh.
That's it? Okay.
I mean, that might be enough to get on this list.
Bears, what did they do? They added a bunch of aging receivers.
Bears did a lot. Yeah, they gave Bo all those weapons.
They gave him an injury-prone running back and Devon and whatever his first name is, Swift. They gave a overweight, out of shape Keenan Allen.
He wasn't overweight when they signed him.
Whatever.
He just got to Chicago
and just
was like, let's try this pizza I keep hearing about.
My man had a deep Chicago pizza and just was like, I had a hot Chicago pizza this morning for breakfast. I think I might have another one for lunch and dinner. And that was like the entire off season for him.
Mm-hmm. All them nasty ass Chicago style pizzas.
And then he was like, I'm not he was like, "Oh, I'm not doing team drills. I'm gonna go ahead and have me another Chicago style pizza." Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't like that much with all. This seems really weird because Philadelphia definitely. I don't think if you ask any team who had the best offseason, they'll tell you the Philadelphia Eagles did because
I
they
would have,
went out.
yeah, such the Eagles, the Bears. Because I think the Bears did a lot just to overhaul their team this offseason.
I don't think so.
I don't know that the Commanders did enough. They basically threw their whole draft from last year in the trash.
Yeah,
Like except for Emmanuel Forbes and some linemen, I believe, who had a decent season. Yeah. So I mean, like just throwing away that draft probably is why they got a few of those votes, is they got rid of some of their trash, and that naturally improved the addition by subtraction. So
and the Eagles went out there and they did it. And they improved their team addition by multiplication.
I guess they signed a bunch. Re-signed their stars to decent valued contracts.
They
Brought
re-signed.
in one of the best running backs in the game. So yeah, they had a great offseason. Nobody can deny that.
They went out there. They didn't just re-sign a star. They went out and said, "Hey, you." Like and this is the crazy thing is like, I guess you can say the Eagles didn't do a lot because they already had a star-studded team. So it's not like you can add too much to an already star-studded roster,
Right?
Because they added like two
Kelsey
people.
Loss and Cox is a loss. Right.
Yeah, but they added two people to an already star-studded roster. Jahan Dotson and Saquon. They added two people.
Right.
Well, Chicago added two people and then drafted. But then the Eagles went and added stuff to their defense. But everybody did. So I mean, I get it. They didn't add too much. They just gave everybody new deals. It was like, listen, we want you here for a while. I mean, I can understand it. Everybody hates the Eagles anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah, true. They do love to hate us, but we don't care. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. All right, next question. Will the Cowboys and Dak agree to a contract extension? 18 of 31 said yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I have a strong inclination that they're not going to re-sign Dak because they're going to try to give Parsons a deal.
Yeah, that would be logical, but I don't think Parsons wants to be there, honestly.
No, I don't think Parsons wants to be there either. And I have a strong feeling that Dak is going to be in free agency and he's going to be on another team next year when his contract's up. And that is crazy. Because I know we don't like Cowboys, and we don't like Dak, but I feel like Dak going somewhere else might be.
He's probably end up in like New England somewhere.
He's going to end up. He's going to be in Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina, Oakland. Where he ends up is going to be a definite downgrade.
Oh, for sure.
We may never see him again once he gets there.
All right.
One of the no's said, no, the Cowboys got themselves into a mess. That's what happens when the owner gets too involved and becomes friends with the players. I wouldn't pay Dak $60 million per year, and they can't all make all three guys the highest paid at their respective positions.
Eagles just did. Oh.
They're not the top paid.
Well, they were at a certain point.
Dak, Dak's not. Lamb's not the highest paid, but he's the second highest.
Yeah,
and Parsons would probably be the highest. Dak doesn't deserve to be the highest. Like, you can't just keep doing that with quarterbacks. Every time a quarterback comes up, you got to pay them more than the last guy if they haven't produced as much as the last guy. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, if they paid Dak $60 million a year, they'd be foolish because they're just paying for a wild card spot for $60 million. That would be a waste. Now, if he was going to another team, go ahead, throw the money at him because you're obviously desperate if you reach it for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
All right.
This one, I don't even know if I want to do this one because it seems kind of stupid. What would the average annual value be if Pat Mahomes was a free agent? How much would he make a season on average?
God damn.
Yeah. Like the polls say over 100 million. Six voted, yeah. 75 had 5, 70 had 13, 60 had 6, and under 60 had 1. And then under 60 that voted 1 is probably not going to have his job next season because he don't know what the fuck he's doing. All right. I have a quote. One of them people. 100 mil per year guaranteed over 5 years. That's probably low. Mahomes is the ultimate difference maker. 18 teams will pay that now. It says 18 teams will pay over 100 million per year guaranteed for Pat Mahomes.
I'm not doing that. That sounds stupid.
It does sound very illogical. I mean, you know why he's having so much success? Because he's having success with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
We don't know what he would be had he went to, say, the Titans or something. We don't know. We know he wouldn't be what he is now.
He wouldn't be.
Right. He definitely wouldn't have the same coach his whole career. He wouldn't have the same GM, OC. He wouldn't have that. He wouldn't have the success and the consistency in the front office that he has now. And that makes a difference. He wouldn't have the commitment to winning on the field that they have now. They wouldn't have the caliber, the front office GM, Veach, that they have now. He wouldn't be in Tennessee. None of those things would be there in Tennessee.
Right.
I'm just using Tennessee as an example. But if he went to another squad, this would not be the same story. We would not have him as the best player in the league because he would probably not produce the way he produces now. Because part of that is Andy Reid and whoever the OC is in any given year. And, yeah. So, no. If you'll pay over $100 million per season for him, you can guarantee you've lost your job after that, even if he's successful, because that's $100 million, and the cap is like it's what 250 this year, something like that. So yeah, you done wasted damn near half your damn cap on one player. You can't develop a team around him unless you just got a bunch of rookies, and cheap free agents. So no, $100 million would be too much. I think 70 would be too much, but I could see him getting 70 because someone would overpay. Someone like Cleveland, who overpaid like a motherfucker for Deshaun Jackson. They would have done the same, probably more so for Mahomes.
Okay. Well,
I'm on fire this episode.
We're going to go into hot seats. Whose seats are hot? I have a whole list.
Let it rain on me.
So I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if you have anything on your hot seat. Do you have a hot seat list?
I don't. That's all you. I didn't even think to do one.
I got a hot seat list, and I think Boulevard might agree with all of them as well. First on my hot seat list, I have Eberflus and Ryan Poles in Chicago.
Fair enough.
Now, listen, this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Because if with all these changes that were made to this team, if they can't be successful, both or at least one of those guys will be fired this year. If they cannot produce, this team is not a playoff team this year. Eberflus or Poles or both are fired. And I don't know if anybody objects. If you object, please let me know.
Hell no, I don't. I can see Eberflus getting canned immediately if this don't pan out.
Yeah, if this don't work, if you can't win
first, so
yeah, if you can't win with the team that the Bears have put together, those guys are fired. You gotta fire them. You have to fire them.
Right. I mean, it looks like a playoff roster on paper. Just got to get their rookie to develop, and that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So, if they don't make it, you got to replace the coach at this point. He hasn't gotten you anywhere. He can't get the most out of his players, then you got to find somebody that can.
Yeah. Next, I want some protection. Next, I have Kevin Stefanski, or I believe his name Andrew Berry for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys will get fired this year. We already know the Browns are not going to the playoffs this year. They're just not a good team. Not good at all. One of those guys are getting fired this year. I don't care what anybody has to say. Stefanski or Barry, it'll probably be Stefanski.
It'll be Stefanski.
Barry's
good. Barry's a good GM. He's going to be solid. Problem with Barry is he went to Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's where he went wrong. So you can't just take the first opportunity that presents itself, especially with a consistently bad team that's been bad over decades. Like, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see how long it took Detroit to pull itself up.
Yeah, so that'll be determination. All right. Now we're going to go to the New York and the Meadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Brian Daboll and the Giants. However, I'll tell you this. If the Giants do what Giants do, Daboll's safe. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the Giants GM, Mr. Schoen, or whatever his name is,
Joe Schoen, yeah.
Joe Schoen. He exposed himself in front of the cameras on Hard Knocks. And we've talked about
you would have seen that in a different way. He exposed himself. I
mean, that would have been an improvement. That would have been a better situation than what he did.
Yeah. That would have been a historic moment in Hard Knocks history.
Yeah, that would have at least he probably
Vince Wilfork in the jumper and the overalls. Just
But here's the thing: if he exposed himself in a literal sense, they could at least cut that out. They could have cut that out. But that's not what he did. He said the dumbest thing out of his mouth. Saquon's not going to fetch a market in free agency. He's not going to do that. Said that in front of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? You said something in front of the cameras. Stupid. Not only that, the other part that Boulevard always lets us know, the owner said how he, what was the quote?
He would not be able to sleep if the Eagles got Saquon. And as he was leaving that room, he stopped in the doorway and was just staring at the GM for a good 10 seconds. And them eyes said, if you fuck up, you're fired. Like, he was ready to fire that man right there. Because that was after Saquon had already, it was already gone.
You know what probably
happened? Fire him right there.
You know what probably happened? When they announced that the Eagles signed Saquon, the owner probably walked into the building, walked right to Joe. He probably went to the receptionist. Is Joe in? The reception, yes. Joe's been in for about an hour now. He walked right to Joe's office, stood in his doorway, looked at him for about 5 minutes. Joe was like, "And everything okay? Anything?" And the owner just stared at him, didn't say anything for about 10 minutes, just stared at him, and then finally walked away. Because Joe Schoen knows exactly. He's
anything
fired.
Less than 8 wins, he fired. Like, anything less than actually being a challenge to the rest of the league instead of a walkthrough, he getting fired. Because, you done lost your best offensive weapon and replaced it with Devin Singletary, who's okay, but he ain't shit compared to Saquon. So, like, that's just bad shit. That was a terrible offseason for the Giants. They deserve everything they get, including fired. Danny Jones to go. Dayball's a good coach, but he'd probably be better off somewhere else.
He would be.
Joe Shame, he gone. Like, he gone. I don't even think he'll make it through the season. He'll be looking for his replacement in week 10. Already doing interview shit.
Yeah. So next I have Doug Peterson or Trent Baalke in Jacksonville. One of those guys is going this year. One of them. I think it'll probably be Baalke because Jacksonville doesn't like him. The fans at Duval County do not like this guy. They don't want him. They want him gone. So
then he gone.
Yeah.
He gone. That's how that sounds.
Next.
Next.
If the Jets cannot produce, which we already know, if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, you're going to see Jordan Travis, and I don't have high hopes for the Jets this year. So next, that means Robert Saleh will be fired.
Robert Saleh will be fired after the season. I completely agree with that.
Yes, Robert Saleh. will be fired as the head coach of the New York Jets. Joe Douglas, we already know no matter what, Joe Douglas is safe. He's Joe Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
He was the heir apparent to Howie Roseman.
Mm-hmm.
The same as Andrew Barry.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come from Philly, you know you're safe wherever.
That man got a general manager tree.
Yeah.
Mm.
Next on my list, and this always comes down to that quarterback. What's going to happen is Derek Carr is not going to put up, and he'll probably get either traded or he'll get hurt or benched, and you will see Spencer Rattler start. Now, depending on what happens,
Spencer Rattler out there.
yes, I do. I watched him on that show. I remember him on that show, so I have high hopes for him. If anything besides a 10-win season occurs, Dennis Allen will be fired. And this is why I say he will be fired, because the New Orleans Saints owner did not hire him.
Right.
Sean Payton appointed him head coach when he resigned. So that means that they're going on faith of Sean Payton. So if Dennis Allen cannot produce as head coach this year, the Saints will be like, okay, I gave Sean Payton the benefit of doubt. I gave you the benefit of doubt because Payton vouched for you. You haven't produced. You can go now. Here's your walking papers. Yes.
Would not surprise me.
Yes.
I don't expect much out of New Orleans this season.
Another person I got on my hot seat list, Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. He was on the hot seat. They were talking about firing this guy even after they made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, McCarthy, you will be fired, especially if your team cannot produce this year. If you don't, because the owner's not going to take the responsibility. The owner's not going to take responsibility for this. We already know that. He's the owner. He's the GM. There's nobody else.
Fault, especially in Dallas.
There's nobody else that's at fault for your team not doing what it's supposed to do, and that's why Mike McCarthy's going to get fired.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to suffer for it. It ain't going to be Jerry, like you said. In that situation, it's always going to be the coach. Always. Because he's not going to fire his people because his people are his kids. So.
Yep. All right, and the last person on my list, somebody that, when you have a guy like Arthur Blank, an old owner, who walks up to you and asks you what the hell you're doing when you make a draft pick, and this was on live TV. We all saw Arthur Blank. So, Terry Fontenot, the Atlanta Falcons GM, when he picked Michael Penix, whatever, and Arthur Blank walked up to you and said, "What are you doing?"
Right.
You don't know if that's exactly what he said, but we saw
there was something along those lines.
It was something. What are you doing?
There was something along those lines.
I think that was the moment Terry Fontenot was fired. They better win it all this year because Terry Fontenot will be looking for a new job next year.
I don't even think they make the playoffs.
Yep.
Bijan will get his numbers. Pitts will get his numbers, but that's not a playoff team over there.
No.
They don't even know how to win yet, let alone playoffs. They don't even know how to win consistently.
All right, and that's all I have. We got some remaining poll topics, toll pockets.
Yes. And these are not a doozy. All right. Best talent evaluator, as far as like the GMs again. I ain't going to go through the whole list. Holmes in Detroit got 2. DaCosta, Baltimore got 2. Ballard got 2 with the Colts. Peters got 3 with the Commanders. Gutekunst 3. Veach 4. And Schneider 4. Veach and Schneider were tied as the best talent evaluators in the league. I guess. I mean, Seahawks do make some impressive picks. I'll give them that. Kansas City, I don't know. Like, I feel like they got one player right on offense. Well, 2, because Kelsey. But like over time, that's been it. I don't feel like they make a lot of hits in the draft, not offensively. Don't get me wrong. I know Andy Reid knows his weapons, but didn't he just draft a running back like before Pacheco, the year before Pacheco that flopped? He had the hyphenated name and everything. I'm just drawing a blank on it. But yeah, I can't remember his name. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Flop. So, I mean, can't say he's all that great at – they're not the best at drafting, not all for offense. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest about it. Look at their offense. They don't have a lot of hits offensively. They hit on the line, and they hit at quarterback. Pacheco had a good year, but we can't be totally confident in Pacheco yet.
Right.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't put him up. I wouldn't put Veach up there as one of the best talent evaluators. He's good. He hits more than he misses, but no.
Right.
And Schneider hits. Schneider hits. He's good. Gutekunst is probably good. Peters, I have no idea. Because DC, like, especially after they fucked up an entire draft, how can you put somebody up there? I don't know if he was the GM in DC last year. Probably not. But to have him up there as one of the best already, if he wasn't there last year, that don't make sense.
Yeah, he's his first year in Washington.
Yeah, then he shouldn't be on this list with a rebuilding team that isn't even going to win 8 games. So, like, they're going to be in playoff contention. They're going to be out of it by week 6. CG doesn't belong there. Colts, I don't know what the fuck Ballard's doing on there. The Costa should be higher because the Ravens hit every year consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit's been good for 3 years. I guess that's been the time Eric Holmes has been there, but before that, they've just been consistently trash. So,
right.
If there is somebody who gets the credit for Detroit's turnaround, it should be Holmes, definitely, as the general manager or whatever the hell position he calls it. And the best overall GM in the league was basically, well, it was Brett Veach, Howie Roseman, and whoever Holmes is. I guess I should have put the teams. With Veach at 6, Howie and Holmes at 5. Just tell them more the same. Veach is good, Howie's good, but we know that already.
Yeah.
If you want to speak on that, feel free. I got nothing on that matter.
Yeah, I got nothing on that either.
All right. And my last piece, I think, was as in regards to an 18-game schedule. 16 said no, 14 said yes.
I'm open to it. I mean, just like look at the preseason. I mean, I know they say that some players, they need that opportunity to get some eyes on them. I agree with that. But just, I mean, and that's where I think this is where the NFL should get more involved in the spring football, because you can get those guys a full season to get eyes on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then add that 18-week season and actually do the playoffs. I don't. There's ways to go about it. I think adding an extra bye week, so you can split the season up in three parts. You can get 2. Each team gets 2 bye weeks. I'm with that. Completely eliminate the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's just trash anyway.
Yeah, and completely eliminate the Pro Bowl. You can have like those special like the special activities, all-star activities. You don't need a full all-star game. You don't need that anymore. Right. It's not really important. Because I think all that is just a fantasy game. Everybody get to see the best players play with the best players. But it's not that important. You can just have like an all-star team that you just say, oh, these guys made the all-star team, but you don't need an actual game. And then maybe even go an extra week in the playoffs. I don't know. There's things you can do, but an 18-week season could be beneficial. I'm just completely shit on the records. But
yeah, all the records will fall.
Yeah, all the records will fall immediately. But I don't see any reason why we can't go 18 weeks. More money, more football. The season was.
You're going to need bigger rosters. You're going to need to expand rosters again.
I don't see any reason why you can't do that.
I'd say just instead of just having the bye weeks all scattered, just put them in specific spots and just
Yeah.
make it every team gets the bye week same week because all this other shit is just
just
put a week off.
Yeah, the whole season gets a week off of football.
Yeah. Like if there's 18 games, week 6, week 12, week 7, week 14, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
where the
that
whole
works.
week's off, and we can do other things that week involving the players.
And then week 9 is the bye week.
Yeah, it could be week 9, it could be whenever. Like 2 bye weeks could be whenever. As long as they're even and everybody gets the same rest, and they're all on an even slate across the season.
Yeah. I think week 9 should be the trade deadline, or week 10 should be the trade deadline.
It's around there, isn't it? Isn't it like week 8 now? Is it
Yeah.
week 8? Week 9? Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, me, I'm not necessarily for it, but if I was a player, I'd probably be more against it because there's just another, like they're just extending your season. But if you're already under contract, you're not getting more out of that. Like that only applies to the new players. So you're getting the same amount of money for more work, which nobody wants that.
True.
Until they can get, like, if you want to throw a bonus check on top of these players for what they normally will make in a week, sure, go for that. I mean, not week, 1st and 15th. What they normally would give 1st or the 15th, then yeah, just give them another check.
But I think with players, I think give them another check. But also, I think with the players knowing they have incentive-based contracts, having those extra 2 weeks benefit your incentives.
Yeah,
because if you know you're like 7, like let's say you're 7 receptions in week 17, and you only play, what was it, week 16, and you only play 16 games, and you're like, oh shit, I still got 7 receptions left, and I'm not gonna get it. We 10 minutes in, and 10 minutes into the 4th quarter, I'm not getting that. But if you got 2 weeks left and you 7 receptions away, you cool, you good.
You should be good to go.
So I think
they're good to go.
There's arguments there for it. I think it's just a way they got to make sure that they make it so that it's beneficial, and I think that's where you get the CBA, you get the union to come in there and talk about it.
Don't put them that extra week on those streaming app though.
Oh,
I'm already sick of that
at all. I'm not with that at all. Then that's a surefire way to lose a lot of fans.
Right, you disrespecting the fans with that. We don't need to go on an app when it should be on basic television. It was bad enough when they moved them to ESPN because not everybody even gets ESPN.
Yeah.
It was bad enough when they did that because you're already denying fans access to the football games, which should not be the MO of a league, of any sports league. It's like we're going to deprive players of their teams because they have to go find it on cable or if they got to go download an app.
Yeah, because I'm tired of people calling me. They'll let me
years old and don't know how to use any of them damn things, but they've been a lifelong fan.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do that. You done took it away from the fans, and the fans is where all the damn revenue comes from. Well, fans and the TV.
Yeah,
like that's all it's about. Is because the TV. So you rather get money from the apps, but the fans won't watch. That don't work. It's like sure you getting paid, but you depriving everyone else. It's like we shouldn't have to go find the games. We shouldn't have to go look for the damn games. The games should be here, here, and here. Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Shouldn't have to have cable to watch them. Right? Because people are moving away from that. So you shouldn't have to have cable if people are moving away from that. Like shouldn't be on an app where not everybody owns the damn app because you're depriving a good 60% of your fan base from watching the game. It's not right.
Right.
So I don't care what they do necessarily, as long as they stop putting games on apps. Like get it off of fucking Peacock. Get the Thursday nights off of Amazon.
If you want to do that, and this is what I say this, if you want to do apps, let it be on the apps, but don't take it from people.
Thank you. Don't take it off of television.
Yeah, because that means you telling people that you got to go out here and spend extra money to go get an app. I only have Amazon because my wife spends a lot of money. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason we have Amazon over here is because Amazon Prime is our best friend.
Yeah. But like, I'm tired of people calling me talking about, bro, I'm trying to watch the game. Can I borrow your streaming account?
Ugh.
That's right. Because I get it all the time. I can't watch Monday Night Football. That sounds like a you problem, bro.
Mhm.
I'm not giving it out. And I'm not watching it because it's not the Eagles. So why am I watching it? I'm not watching it. Well, I think I'll probably watch it because of this show. But
Yes, just for content. Well, I got nothing else on my end.
I ain't got nothing else either. So, with that being said, I say unto all you fools,
Booze.
we're all
Did
not
we have
Spencer
good
Rattler.
energy?
We're not all Spencer Rattler, who's gonna be a starter, because we can all be starters.
Ooh.
But there's one thing you can all do, and Boulevard can tell you better than anybody else.
Wait, I can? I
Yeah,
know
of
this
course.
one? Oh,
I
wait.
think
Hit the bench.